safe viewing experience by following our community guidelines, community double standards, because it all know it doesn't apply to atheists like it applies to other folks that are on TikTok live. Let's see who's going to be first tonight, though. We're notifying viewers that you're live. Yeah, sure you are. TikTok, I doubt it. We are on YouTube and we are on TikTok. And there is my guy, Multi-Stig. What's up? You are number one tonight. Blessed Babe, 1111. What's up, Blessed Babe? Oceanica, not crazy cat lady, my girl. The Danish Dumpling with us again. Balderon, Bumblebee. What dat 20? Arsans 3000. Thanks for being here. Evening, Tittle Tattle 2. What's going on with you? Hey, baby. Arsans 3000 joined again. Thanks for joining 2 times in a row. Appreciate you guys being on board. It is Wednesday, and I've been on it a couple of Wednesdays. I took last Wednesday off because I was traveling, and I missed it. So we're back to doing Wednesday Night Live at 7 o'clock in the Central Zone and 8 o'clock on the East Coast, like we usually do. We are also on YouTube, the YouTube camera, TikTok camera, YouTube camera, TikTok camera. What's up, Vince? Hey, appreciate you, man. 1 Abbey Road. Thanks for joining. I know I missed some names, but thanks everybody for being here. Hit me up with your questions and comments if you got anything to talk about tonight. What the fuck are we going to get into? I just got back from traveling, man. That's right. We were on the East Coast. You might have caught me. Went for a quick hour after the FFRF convention on Sunday, which was very cool. I got Erin Lewis, the former stripper, who was making a splash on Twitter. I haven't seen her do any TikTok. She got to get on TikTok too. She's quite popular, as you can imagine why. But she is there to be seen for you on Twitter if you look up Erin Lewis. She's got a great story, and always fun to see her at the convention. She was cool enough to jump on with me for a few minutes that I was able to go live after the convention before I got yanked out of there and had to see Boston and check out what's going on there. But it was cool. It was a cool conference. It was very cool to see Margaret Atwood speak. She's a dear. She's a darling. She's a delight. She was droll and funny and present, and it was she's like 85, 86. Who knew? A little bit of a wisp of a thing like your grandma. You worry for if the wind blows hard that she might just get picked up and blown right away. But she was very charming, very engaging. At that age, they had her out there for, I think, just a bare hour. You know what I mean? And then they shuffled her off, and you could pay like $500. You could have paid to get with her, in a room and get some personal time, which would have been cool. But they wanted like $500 for that. Man, it's big money, man, for a poor activist like me. So I'm sure some people did it, and it would have been well worth it because she was very, very cool. It was very cool to hear her story, hear her inspiration behind Handmaid's Tale, hear how she grew up, and her commentary on society today and her fears for the future. So that was cool. And Gloria Steinem broke ribs, could not make it. Actually, it fell and broke ribs, and could not make it. But they wired us up and got her to be there remotely, and it was very cool. She was in a good mood, very, very available, very very friendly, very ready to take questions from the audience, and so she stuck it out, even with the pain of broken ribs and whatever the hell else happened to her. But again, 86. Who knew she was even still alive? She looked great. Otherwise, I mean, like literally, she's always been a good-looking woman and just was well preserved, pretty. It doesn't look any different at all, even at her age. But James Webster calling me a honky. Been a long time, man. I grew up in the 70s. I remember being called honky. You guys remember that? It used to be what they called crackers back in the day. If you're a white guy, right? Being called a honky was the pejorative for for a white person in the day. You don't hear that very, very often. You don't hear people saying honky. This guy says honky and doesn't spell it right. So what's up with you, James Webster? Please don't say you were talking about Elizabeth Moss. She's a Scientologist. No, nobody talked about Elizabeth Moss. Is she a Scientologist? I didn't know that. Thanks, man. Richie Reader. I did not know that about Elizabeth Moss. That's disappointing, isn't it? I like Elizabeth Moss. She's a talented actress and she's great in everything I've ever seen her do. And if anything, she's getting a little bit little bit angsty in this last season of Handmaid's Tale, where she's always just like this pain-ridden kind of go-to grumpy face. But I did not know she was a Scientologist. That is very, very disappointing. But like I said, it's available for actors, and it always has been. Scientology as self-help, I think, is attractive to actors, just because of what they do. What's up, my friend? Kevin Rubik's here. My great moderators are on board tonight. What are you up to, Kevin? Last time I was on, Kevin was with us when we discussed string theory, and I did look at the video you posted with what's his name? We've seen him before, the physicist that talks. I can't think of his name right now, but it made sense. It made sense. I'll probably watch it again because it's a pretty concise way to explain string theory. So if you're interested in that, check out Kevin Rubik's channel. Yeah, thank you, Michio Kaku. That's right. We've seen him talk before. He's great. But check out Kevin Rubik's channel if you want to watch that video. You doing school shit, Vinx? My girl Tax the Churches is here. What's up? Gorgeous. Where you been all my life, woman? Good to see you here. Strikes and gutters, ups and downs. What strikes and gutters, ups and downs mean? Pop to the pups. You got dogs? You a dog person? Pop to the pups. He's a dog daddy. What does strikes and gutters, ups and downs means? I'm not sure what that means, man. But no, we were talking about Margaret Atwood. We weren't talking about Elizabeth Moss or Scientology. But we were talking about that because I saw Margaret Atwood. I got to see her in Boston, and we did some other stuff in Boston too. The girlfriend had never been there. We went to the New England Aquarium. Went to get some chowder and some seafood at a nice restaurant. Went to Faneuil Hall. Did a little shopping. My friend went and saw some of that. A little bit of the patriotic shit. She's a black chick, so it's like doesn't really care about white history in America the way that like we do. We grew up, man. I want to tell you, when growing up in Connecticut, the revolution was everywhere. It's right there, tangible for you, man. And we just loved it. We were such patriots. We loved everything it had to do with the revolution. And the bicentennial, of course, came around when I was 12 years old or so. Big deal, and it never occurred to me that there was a segment of the population that probably doesn't really give a fuck about white slave owners history here in America. And so it's been interesting to get that perspective. You know what I mean? Where people are really in touch with the heroes that mean a lot to them, that are important to their lives, to their stories. And for a lot of Black Americans, Samuel Adams and John Hancock and Paul Revere, those crackers ain't making it. You know what I mean? It doesn't hold any appeal really, and it never dawned on me. But again, with a lot of things, you grow, you learn, and so it was interesting to see, what someone who's not from my background might be interested in when it comes to a place like Boston. It's so steeped in American history, but really, it's a whitewashed piece of American history, right? Pretty much when you go there, and you can see it in Boston. They're like, if you go to Faneuil Hall, they got like, Black Freedom Trail is like right up there, pasted next. It used to just be the Freedom Trail, right? And now they're really making a concerted effort to include Black people, who of course played a role in the revolution, and famously Crispus Attucks, right, took a bullet as one of the first casualties of the revolution. Was an African American citizen at that point, or I don't know if they were a citizen, but I don't think Crispus Attucks was a slave, right? But it brings it home when you go to a place like that and you realize that what we're really talking about is the emancipation from England of a people who were still holding other people's slaves. So it gives you a little perspective. But that's good stuff. Going to Boston. What's up? I blame Bill, my girl. I blame Bill. Miss you so much, baby. What's happening, Scott Porter? Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you. I don't know what any of that means, man. I missed a bunch of comments. What's a goodie? Oh, Leah Remini, yeah, she do a podcast. I got my way through most of her show. Um, and it was stuff we already knew because we talked to what's his face, Miscavige. We talked to his dad already, so nothing we heard from Leah or me was really that new, but it was nice to see her get that out there. My bulldog loves your hat. Your bulldog, I love your bulldog. Thank you. I love the hat. What's up, bro? Yeah, it's Nikki732. Thanks, man. Love you. Love you for being here. And yeah, Miscavige is terrifying. You're right. It's a scary thing. And where's his wife? We still don't know, right? But his dad got out, and his dad's living up the road here. I say up the road. It's like 30 miles away outside of Milwaukee. Um, Thoughts on the Rolling Stones still touring, man? I love the Stones, man. Still doing it after all these years. Fred, Barney, Wilma, old Stephen Wright joke. My kids went to see the Rolling Stones. Isn't that crazy? They're 12 and 13. I've never seen the Rolling Stones in my life, and there they are going to Charlotte and seeing the Rolling Stones. I don't know, part of me is like, what a cynical money grab, But if they're still active and they enjoy doing it, and they're 80 years old, these guys are like blasted through their 70s. They're in their 80s now, and they're still fucking rocking out. So, man, I can't take anything away from them. I would go probably if I had the extra money and the opportunity. I probably would go see them just to say that you were able to do it. I feel bad for people. It's so hard to get out. Like still because of COVID, you mean? Whose dad's dead? What's up, Richie Reader? They say the railroad that conquered the Wild West, but no, sir, it was barbed wire. They say railroad that conquered the Wild West. You mean conquered? Not concurred. You mean conquered the Wild West? But no, sir, it was barbed wire. Okay. I'll take your word for it there. My guy, Sin-Free Atheist, on board tonight. ¿Cómo está, amigo? Nos vamos a ver domingo. Voy a tener una chancita en domingo si me quieres visitar. All right, we're gonna get together IRL, my friends. Sin-Free Atheist and me gonna get together and meet on Sunday. I think I'll have time to do that. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. You guys like Thanksgiving? It's one of my favorite holidays. I love to eat. I can see. I love to eat. And I love to cook. And I love to entertain. And all those things go together on Halloween, don't they? So I think Halloween's kind of like the forgotten holiday, right? Halloween is such a big deal that, and Christmas now starts as soon as Halloween is over. So Thanksgiving is like this weird stop on the way to Christmas, man. And I feel like it gets like short shrift. Ron died a month ago. I did not know that. I did not know that. I guess I could stop talking about him living up the road. Thanks, Richie, for cluing me in on that. But yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. What do you guys do for Thanksgiving? Do you deal with thanks, Tittle Tattle. I know it's not a thing in UK. I spent a Thanksgiving in UK. I had an Indian curry for my Thanksgiving dinner one day, west of London. Only Thanksgiving. No, I take that back. I was in London twice for 2 Thanksgivings. I was in London and in my life, and those are the only 2 Thanksgivings I wasn't in the country for, and we did fine. It was all right. But do you guys got to deal with a lot of religious family? Is Thanksgiving overly religious? We came from a religious family, and Easter and Christmas were religious. I mean, we went to services and stuff, but I feel like Thanksgiving, for a holiday that really is about thanking God for the harvest, right? It's always kind of a back burner one when it comes to real religiosity. I've always felt like Thanksgiving is just more of an American experience than a religious experience. Does anyone else feel like that, or am I off base? Has it always been religious for you, with just a bunch of people thanking God for what farmers did? I'm changing my Thanksgiving tradition. I'm going to start eating ribs. Right, that's cool, man. A lot of you guys like turkey. A lot of people really don't like turkey. And it's a dry meat. It's hard to make it so that the whole thing comes out good, right? So, I know a lot of people don't really do turkey, and will do a ham or any other variety of meats, whatever you like. A big Italian family, they always made lasagna and manigots and mastachol and cannolis and all this stuff, and a turkey, because you kind of can't not have a turkey. But a lot of people don't do turkey just because they're like, nobody really likes it anyway. And it always comes out dry and crap. But um, what's up, atheist in South Dakota? Giving me the all caps. Notice me, please. Notice me, please. I finally caught a Wednesday live. Good for you, man. You're here, and thanks for being here, man. Love you. I could skip it. My husband is a turkey devotee. If you know what you're doing, it's all right. And there's a couple of ways to make it come out. My life as a trucker fries his bird, and that's what I've been doing the last couple of years. It's really great. I have a deep fryer, and it takes too long for turkey, just time consuming. I gotta see. And the deep fryer takes like 45 minutes, man, and you're done. And it always comes out. You have to brine it. I don't recommend doing anything without brining a turkey. If you soak it overnight in salt water, it's going to come out a lot juicier than if you don't, no matter how you cook it. But if you deep fry it, it turns out that that's pretty important. You know what I mean? I tried to do it and I forgot to brine it the second time I did it, and it wasn't really anywhere near as good. But when I brined the first one and injected it, you injected butter in the breast, butter in all the thick parts. Watch that muscle puff up with the buttery goo that you're putting in there, some sage and whatever. You melt the butter and put some sage, a little bit of rosemary and some stuff in there, and inject it, right, and then deep fry it. Man, it was the best turkey I ever had. But you don't have to do that. If you're cooking it, I recommend cooking it upside down. If you're baking it or roasting it, roast it upside down. Then the juices from the leg and the thigh will drain through the breast as the breast is cooking, so you don't have to like overcook the breast to get the rest of it cooked, right? You can you can cook it to temperature, and that more of that grease will drip down through the breast and keep it moist, right? And that works, you know what I mean? And then if you want, turn it over at the end for the last half hour so that you brown up that part that was on the bottom, because you don't want it yellow if the breast part is laying on the bottom. But you can do it that way too, and baste it, just continually baste it. You can put cheesecloth over with butter on it. There's a lot of things you can do, but somebody's like making fun of me right now. I actually like turkey. If it's well done, turkey's delicious. I love just taking a big old turkey leg and eating on that thing with crispy skin. But I don't think you can do turkey so that it's not disgusting. So I urge you to give it another shot. Turkey is underused, I think. I'm having ham simply because my Christian mother-in-law loves to tell us that eating ham is against God's law. What? I blame Bill. Your mother-in-law tells you that eating ham is against God's law. Why does she keep kosher as a Christian? That's weird. I've never heard a Christian go off on how eating ham is against God's law. That's wacky. Religion is definitely the opium of the people, and I have tried opium, and opium is better than religion. Yeah, I like pork. You know what? I like fresh pork a lot better than ham. I just put a pork in sauerkraut, and I'll make that anytime. That was a tradition on New Year's Day for us growing up as the Pennsylvania Dutch tradition, I want to say, to eat a suckling pig on New Year's Day. And that just evolved into a nice greasy pork roast, and just bake that thing in sauerkraut, nice and slow, roast it slow, and get like a Boston butt, like a shoulder, a nice fatty piece. Oh man, and then it's just falling apart with that tasty sauerkraut. Oh man, is that good stuff? So I do that. She makes it up as she goes along and co-ops Jewish tradition. I roll. That's nuts, man. Work at a restaurant open tomorrow and sells big meals for families. That's cool. That was what I did in London the other time. We went to a restaurant that served like, two Americans and an American kind of turkey dinner for. Yeah, my guy knows what I'm talking about. Andy Ocho. What's up, man? You know what I'm talking about. New Year's Day for good luck. Pork and sauerkraut. That's exactly right. And that's what we still do. My family does it on New Year's Day. I'll do it like a couple times a year because I just love it. How do we get the Christ out of Christmas? I don't know, man. I like put the Saturn back in Saturnalia. That's the sign that I want um out of the Christmas holidays. Do I celebrate Christmas or Xmas? I don't know. I say Xmas a lot because I think there's some Christians that it upsets, but I don't care. I call it Christmas. It doesn't matter to me. So yeah, I celebrate Christmas, but I do think that the signs that talk about keeping Christ in Christmas really bother me, right? We need like sign that says Christ was never in Christmas to begin with. These people understand that Christmas was stolen, right? Even the people who want to keep Christ in Christmas, we know they don't care. To them, it's just about the Jesus myth. But um, yeah, the signs that say "Keep Christ in Christmas," those things make me itchy, man. I want to change them to say, um, let's take Christ back out of Christmas. Basically, just take him the fuck away, man. He stole it. Let's get rid of him. In Wisconsin, I told a thumper, he laughed. What? He like to. I got the dude shirt on tonight. Thanks, man. There you go. Santa is the reason for the season. That's what it is. Commercialism. Damn it. That's the reason for the season. Jesus was an alien. I was told that pork and sauerkraut was a German tradition. It is. Pennsylvania Dutch means German. Right? I don't know if you knew this. Pennsylvania Dutch doesn't mean Dutch. It's because it was Deutsch, Pennsylvania Deutsch, right? And Americans started, just pronouncing Deutsch as Dutch. So if you hear people say Pennsylvania Dutch, they're talking about German tradition. Festivus, the holiday for the rest of us. That's right, Wesley Hartland. Thanks for the follow. Capitalist miss. There you go. Jesus doesn't celebrate Santa's birthday. Kind of rude. I'm from Iran and glad to be an atheist. I'm sure you are, man. Thank you, Shaheen Hawk. What's up, my Persian friend? If uh, you're living in Iran still, or you're from Iran and you live in America and you're an atheist now? It's tough, I feel bad for the good people of Iran. To have to live in a real theocracy is rough. After Iran was such a great place, everyone who tells me, how cool Iran was, and I believe it. If you go there before Sharia law and before the Ayatollahs took over, you might have got a corrupt government with the Shah, but at least you had freedom on the streets, right? You could enjoy a coffee downtown and not worry about the Taliban coming up and measuring your fucking beard and smacking you in the caning you in the street for not fucking, who knows, living up to their fucking idiotic fucking religious law. Do you do that pretzel on New York too? What do you mean? What does that mean? Do I do that pretzel on New York? What? Gotta go listen to Tim Minchin's White Wine in the Sun, the atheist Christmas song. That's cool. I don't know that one. White Wine in the Sun. Anyone Friendsgiving this year? What is that? What's Friendsgiving? Oh, you're in the UK, Shaheen? Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, my girl. I Blame Bill is here. Yes, thank you for noticing. Red Jerome. Red Jeromeo. I love that. Red Jeromeo. uh, um, but who's got like stories about like people they have to deal with for Thanksgiving? I don't anymore. I saw my mom. She's the religious one in the family, but she doesn't make a pain in the ass out of herself. She would just probably make us pray once before a Thanksgiving meal, but it's easy for me because I got a bunch of atheists in the family. What's up, Grams? Gramps. I'm Gramps, not Grams. Uh, Jess Eos, were you there? Were you at the FFR convention, man? Why didn't you look me up? I was just there. It is great to be around so many other atheists, isn't it? You forget. You get to a place like Boston, which is liberal anyway, and you have to put up with like the Trumpy weirdness that just pervades the country, no matter where else you go. But it's also cool to be at the convention, just everyone you talk to is over it. They're over the mythology. They're ready to get on with reason. They're ready to get on with civic duty from a rationalist standpoint, and not imposing Christian mythology on this former secular government. So it is. I'm glad to hear you were there. You should have found me, Jess. I did not see anybody that I knew or that recognized me. Um, and I know there's a few of you out there. I did see some people I knew, obviously, but not necessarily from TikTok. I feel like more people on TikTok are looking at the American Atheist Convention in April, which I hope to be at that one. It sounds like a lot of you folks are going to be there. Tomorrow I get to see my grown kids. Yay, mother-in-law, you less yay. 100% heathen though. Good for you, Deborah dozers. The ones over 40 are Christians, and the ones under are atheists in my family. That's the way it goes, isn't it? Jetter done. Jetter done too. Um, it's like that everywhere. In fact, I just pulled up an article um, from Poland. Religious practice declines in Poland, especially among the young, man. And this is what we see everywhere around the world. I didn't read the article, and I don't see where does it go. It doesn't say how to read the rest of the damn article. But this is good news, especially. Oh, here it is. Read more. Especially from a place like Poland, which was pointed out to me as like when I did the Europe video, I was like, oh, Poland's still pretty religious. I don't know. I don't have any personal experience, but the comments we get are exactly the same. That like religion is on the decline, and it's mostly old people who are keeping it alive in a place like Poland. Increasing number of Poles no longer practice religious faith, according to a survey charting the years from 1992 to 2021. 69% weekly to 42%. Wow. That's a lot. Only 42%. And that's just everybody. That's not the young people. But it goes on to talk about how the younger you are, the less religious you are in Poland. And that's what we see in every freaking country right now. And it couldn't make me any happier. Going to Boston Market in Pittsburgh tomorrow. Going to buy meals and pass them out to the homeless. Nice, man. Bo 412. We don't have any more Boston markets around here. Remember they came out? It was Boston Chicken. They came out like 25 years ago or more, and then they were everywhere. And then the shakedown came, and a bunch of them went out of business. There's one in Waukegan, I think. I'm not even sure, but I always wondered why they went backwards so far and so fast. Boston Market's a pretty decent outfit, but that's very cool of you. Great thing to do, buying meals and distributing them to people who to the homeless, and you don't have to be homeless to have food and security in the country. So great idea for something to do, man, for the holidays. This one's for you, man. Bo 412. There's like 2 in Pittsburgh. Is that right? Are they all over the South? Like Kenny Rogers. I don't think it was quite like Kenny Rogers Roasters, right? They went completely bankrupt. They were gone. There's no more Kenny Rogers, but that was just another fried chicken joint, wasn't it? Boston Market is actually like, rotisserie chicken, but then like their other stuff is good. It's fairly fresh, homemade, not full of shit. People worldwide have started to see the outrageous hypocrisy within religion. Yeah, thank you. Now it's 21. Now it's 2021. Good to see you, my friend. But yeah, I get the feeling that that's exactly true. And whether it's the internet or whether people are just overall getting smarter, it's really becoming obvious that it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time for religion until it gets to the point where they're all seen as cults, right? It'll never go away completely. There'll always be some religious folks. But we do see, this continuing decline in religion, and I don't think that's going to come back. I really don't. I have a soft spot for the widowed bachelor older men in my neighborhood. Always take Thanksgiving. Aren't you sweet, Carolyn? Neil, number 5. Thank you for a lot of years. The group volunteered at a local Thanksgiving dinner that these restaurants get together and they give it, and they throw a Thanksgiving dinner. And if you don't have anywhere else to go, you can just go down to this public space in Racine and get a Thanksgiving dinner. And it got so popular that you couldn't even volunteer for it anymore. There was just so many people who wanted to do it that it's hard to even get involved in it anymore. And I was not around this year to set it up because of the convention. So I didn't even see what was going on with it this year. But that's a great thing that these guys do for the community, and they feed a couple of thousand people. And you don't have to be poor. You know what I mean? You might just be alone, and you don't really need a meal. But it's a great community get together and a feel good moment. And there's always a band playing. And so I heartily endorse volunteering around the holidays. It makes you feel good about yourself. It shows the world that we do good as atheists without the need for a heavenly reward. And yeah, and it's personally edifying on every level. Yeah, a lot of people get down during the holidays, and I'm one of them, man. Let me tell you what, man. I'm a happy guy, but holidays are something to fucking live through a lot of times, especially when you got family, right? And you're dealing with expectations, wives, ex-wives, husbands, ex-husbands, the modern family. Um, it's not easy, even when you're in a position of privilege, like some of us are. Getting through the holidays can be tough for everybody from a lot of different standpoints. So. Um, Good luck to everybody with that. If you got thoughts on your mind about that, then hit us up with them. Put a question in the question box at the bottom if you want it to stay there, uh, and I will see it. What's up? What's up, Ember? Atheist Sanctuary 2 is here. You good looking gal. Are you always on Atheist Sanctuary 2? Is your other account down now? Is that what's up with you? God created sugar babies. Uh, when you say sugar baby, are you talking about the candy? Or are you talking about the people who use sugar daddies? Aren't those sugar babies? Just lost my aunt to cancer. Kind of freaked us out. She was talking to angels in her room. Her words. Wow. I'll be all. I'll be with all of my husband's right-wing family tomorrow. I'm sorry, Kelpie. I'm sorry. That's what I was getting at. Like a lot of people get thrown in with family that they don't see a lot, right? So we all got to deal with our our Trumpy cousins or our ridiculously religious mother-in-laws or whatever it is. I'm trying to open this friggin' look at this. What a destruction I made out of this. I'm trying to open a new thing of tissues and I just destroyed it. Man, what the fuck? What the actual sorry about that. Um I'm old. I have trouble with my fingers sometimes. But yeah, thanks, Kevin. If you guys have a question, put it in the box down at the bottom. But yeah, lack of hallucination can cause lack of oxygen can cause hallucination. Um, a lot of things can cause, I would think, visions of angels when you're, in that state of mind. I wouldn't freak out about that, but um, if she's a believer and that's what comforts her, then I think those things are going to happen to you. Religion or idealism. Religion or idealism hides all facts from people. For example, human evolution. Yeah, I mean, religion has a tendency to make people less apt to think for themselves. I will go there with you. I'm not sure all religion hides all facts from people, but it doesn't help, honestly. The best religions are the ones that accept fact and adjust themselves to become current or to stay current with scientific thinking. So I think that can happen, but in general, yeah, religion gives people an excuse not to think. Here's the answer. Don't question the answer. And then, people have less pain in their brain. And I guess, and that's, that's what they need, or that's what they think they need. But, some of us want a society that evolves, right? They get that a rising tide floats all boats, I like to say. And if society gets smarter, it helps all the rest of us. People are constantly asking me, why do you care? Why do you care? Why do you care if that guy's religious? Why do you care if someone believes in God? I just want to see human beings improve. I want to see the world get better. I want to see the planet get better. I want to see people treat each other better. I want to see less war. I want to see less hate and bigotry and prejudice uh, and superstition and thoughtless legislation that goes along with religious fundamentalism. So yeah, I'm sorry, I can't stop myself from caring. I don't really care personally if a guy believes in God, but I do care if that society gets continually dragged down by people who believe in God. So there's kind of a contradiction there. Because everybody's got the right to believe, but we're also fighting for a world where that's not necessary anymore, and where we answer questions as we can answer them with data and facts and observable and experimental and falsifiable and repeatable um, uh, scientific method, right? So we can all learn, we can all grow. Isn't it fun to think about where we would have been, if it wasn't for religious thinking. I want to join local atheists. Where do I start? Get the shot already. Get the shot already. Here you go. Just start googling local groups. I mean, where you at? I don't know what to tell you because I don't know where you at. But most places have some kind of free thought chapters or atheist organizations. There's a lot of them, and a lot of them are small. And if you don't have one, do what I did and start one. My family continues to refuse to accept I'm not a Christian. Sorry, Axel. Axel River. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that. I mean, is it something that you fight about, or they're just like in denial? Just don't bring it up. I would say the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages were pretty bad. Yeah, they were. Matthew Feek, what's up, man? George H.W. Bush once said he doesn't consider atheists as citizens or as patriotic. Well, he's an idiot. If H.W. said that, that's tough. It's hard for me to believe that he went there being, just an Episcopalian. He wasn't even a fucking, hardcore evangelical Christian like his son was. So HW stupid, stupid for saying that. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt talked about, and he was a very Christian person. Teddy Roosevelt, a firm believer in God, but he has a great quote where he stands up for the non-believer. He's like, to question a person's patriotism because of their lack of belief is stupid, and we need to stop it. Now, obviously, I'm paraphrasing. I wish I could pull up the quote because it made me proud of somebody who's a believer, but understood that there's no test for there's no religious test for holding office, um, or for being a patriot for that matter. So, I think we have a lot of people who feel like that, and it's just again, it's just part of what makes life in these United States disgusting these days. I always get interrogated at family events. I'm sorry, just be logical with them, be reasonable with them, be like, okay, well, I'm glad that works for you. And I'm glad that you believe that, but have you thought about why you believe that? And here's why I don't, and if they're haranguing you and harassing you, you could ask them just to shut up and like mind their own business, I guess. But look at it as a teaching opportunity. They don't get it because it's so alien to them. So you have a chance to, if not convert some people outright, to make people realize that it's not insane to be an atheist. In fact, it's the opposite of insane, to question the questionable and to ridicule the ridiculous and to not believe the unbelievable. It's absolutely okay. Teddy, if he would have had his way, proposed a new Bill of Rights that would grant free healthcare. Teddy Roosevelt did. Um, My mom's gotten better and accepted, but my grandma is extra bad. Yeah, that's tough. Sometimes it goes like that. Sometimes you'll find that the grandma's generation is a little more accepting. I found out that my grandma was more liberal than my mom was, and found that out before she died. I don't even go there with my Mexican Catholic family. I just stay quiet. They know I don't believe. They do. Yeah, GG. My girl, what's up? Good to see you. I noticed you commented before on the Mexican snacks you like for Thanksgiving. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll tell you what. Um, but if they know you don't believe and they're leaving you alone, then you should probably be happy. That's cool. Socialism or capitalism? I like social capitalism. Thanks, atheist in South Dakota. I think capitalism with a healthy dose of socialism has been shown to be about the most effective um, way. You know what I mean? We're already living in a social democracy. It's stupid to think that we're not. Um, but capitalism is okay. It just needs the checks and balances in place. It needs to have itself corrected. It needs to have regulation, or else the greedy will just keep taking advantage of the rest of us. Happy pre-Turkey Day. That's true. That's what America is. So very true. The Mayans is a good example of what my grandma will often guilt trip me that she won't see me in heaven. Yeah, well, tell her that she won't see anyone in heaven because it's a myth. Uh, Before organized religion, you had pagans who sacrificed each other. For the whole group think chum bucket? What are you talking about, Matthew Ficky? Problem is that there will always be people at the bottom with any type of capitalism. Yeah, yeah. Shaheen's like, you like capitalism? No, I don't love capitalism, but I think it. Um, I think the social utopias of Europe, if we can call them that, have exhibited that a healthy dose of socialism on top of your capitalism. I'm not a political scientist, but I do think there's issues with when you get too far away from a supply and demand and an entrepreneur economy. I think there is a real danger in people not wanting to work, and we see that in America now. We're seeing people not wanting to work because the government made it possible for them to stay home and make more money than they would if they went to their jobs. And this becomes an issue. And I'm not the guy with the answers. I don't know, but I'm not just ready to throw everything out the window and just start over from communism or hardcore socialism because I think there's issues there. But smarter people than me get to work on those kind of things. Economists and people like that. It's above my pay grade here. I'm here to make fun of religion, not advise governments on which kind of economic system to use. It's not that they don't want to work. They don't want to work for starvation wages. No, they don't want to work for less than they can work. They can get at home not working. There's different solutions to that. You can raise the wage, and let them go back to work. It doesn't do anything for anybody to pay people to stay home. I just realized something absolutely disgusting. What did you realize? It's not a question. Zelda P64. Not a question, buddy. You coming with the second half of that? Free thought and common law require personhood and personal. I have found my anxiety and depression is much better without religion. Of course it is. Of course it is. Religion breeds anxiety and depression. If you're always worried about going to hell, or worried about offending a god, or worried about what he's thinking of, when he's watching you have sex, and you're home alone with your lover, and you're in your room behind closed doors, and you're still guilty because you think God's watching you. I mean, religion creates that source of stress and anxiety, and then it gives you then it provides you with the cure, right? This is the whole thing. It's like, yeah, uh, you're a bad person, you're gonna go to hell, but we can fix it. Here, just take this. What? Okay. Or none of it's real, and all of a sudden all that shit goes away. Gone. Oh, this purity culture shit. Oh God. It's awful, isn't it? People do, Kevin. They do. They replace their entire human life value for an ancient book that was cobbled together by people hundreds of years after the individual books were written. It's just so dumb. Thanks, Teddy the Bulldog. Appreciate you, man. I haven't posted a video. I've been out of touch. Been traveling for a week and a half. I got to get some videos back up there. So I appreciate you all being here on a Wednesday night. Yeah, the misogyny is ugly, right? The patriarchy and the misogyny, that was a big one for me when I got to be, 17, 18 and started, thinking in a bigger way. It's fucking ugly. Religion is capitalism. By any other name, it sells you a product you don't need, but feel you must have. Okay. I like that. I used to be religious. I kind of feel ridiculous of what I believe, of what you used to believe. Yeah, I mean, that happens. My dad died in May, and it was so hard to have people constantly tell me I'd see him again. That's tough, I know. And it's like, what are you gonna do? If the shoe's on the other foot and somebody else's dad dies, you can't very well go up to him as an atheist and tell them they're not gonna see their dad again, right? I mean, how fucking shitty do you have to be to pull that shit? So I know that's a tough one to be in. Uh, Who hurt you all? What do you mean? Thanks for the follow. Kida Kidalknatak. Kid A okay, no talk. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for the panda. Matthew Fickey, inspirational. The living word is Jesus. What are you talking about? Scripture is inspirational and moral parable. I thought you were an atheist, buddy. My cousin and I have had very deep conversations about how bad purity culture is. He's Christian. Yeah, I mean, even he knows, right? Our nation dwells on Yahweh, but there are thousands of gods. Yeah, it does. God is a peeping Tom. Yeah, he is. I used to think about that when I was a believer. I'm like, what kind of creepy God is gonna just watch me masturbate or watch somebody have sex through their windows or like care about what people are doing in the bedroom? That freaked me out from an early age. I used to be Christian all my life, but stopped it because I am done with Christianity. Good for you, man. You're a Greek goddess. Greek goddess SB. Good for you, man. I'm done too. Santa watches too. Yeah. But at least Santa brings you presents, right? If he likes what he sees. I was always wondering why shellfish was such an issue. I think that all that stuff comes from just the how easily it spoils, right? I think shellfish is just will kill you, right? If you're not careful with it, right? And that's why pork and all that other stuff is like it killed you because it didn't keep. Beef you can make jerky and you can age steaks and you can do all right but pork gets trichinosis. As soon as it starts getting warm or whatever so stuff. I've always felt that those laws came from common sense sanitary concerns of the day, and so I always assumed shellfish was just the same thing. It's like you can't just go around eating shellfish willy nilly without proper refrigeration and proper sanitary techniques or whatever the fuck it is, because it'll kill you more often than other food. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that was mostly where the laws regarding food came from. Yeah, you're saying it was considered dirty and evil, but I think it was considered dirty and evil because they noticed that it killed people more often than other food. And there hasn't been a case of trichinosis in America since the 30s. People are like burning their pork. I get pork roast, a nice if you get a lean pork roast, like a loin or one of these things, and you stick it in the oven. You need to cook it like literally just a little tiny bit rare. You need to leave that just ever such a slight pink. As soon as that shit gets to 160, 165, boom, it's out of the oven for me. Nothing's worse than old dried up fucking pork because you got to cut without enough fat in it, and because you're too scared to undercook it, man. I got no patience for that shit. Demon shrimp. That's what I'm talking about. You get a shrimp and then just up and one of them just up and kill you. If Rule 34 is true, then there's X of the fucking Bible. What? My great grandmother died today 6 years ago. I'm just vibing and being kind of sad. I'm sorry, Zelda. I don't know what you mean by if Rule 34 is true, then there is X of the fucking Bible. I'm sorry, but we're here for you, Zelda. If you're here to vibe and kind of be sad for losing your grandma 6 years ago, we get that. And we're with you, my friend. I don't know what that other comment means, though. Satan seems more good than God. Yeah, our guy Hyperhumanity likes to talk about that. If you read the Bible, it appears that God is actually the evil one in the Bible, right? I'm not sure if it's still in Mexico, but there was trichinosis when I was growing up. Um, yeah, you got to give it up to the, you can say what you want about America. You can say what you want about the food industry here, but they've really done a remarkable job. Honestly, the USDA and the way that our food is generally safe. Like, I'm stunned that we don't have salmonella outbreaks and trichinosis outbreaks and all that shit. I'm stunned that we don't have more of it. To be honest with you, the amount of food that gets processed in this country, and the fact that they do as well as they do, keeping it sanitary and keeping the outbreaks down to a minimum, is stunning. It's a stunning achievement on the part of a government that is, roundly criticized for all kinds of fucking shit, and deservedly so. But let's give credit where credit's due. There are people behind these bureaucracies that care, that get the job done, and that have made largely the food supply in America as safe as you can reasonably expect it to be compared to what could go on. When you see the kind of fucking chaos that goes on in the world, the guy driving in up the road in Waukesha, y'all see that yesterday? This asshole just drives his SUV into a parade and kills a bunch of people and injures like 60 fucking people. These are the same human beings that are in charge of our food system in America. And literally, I think you could probably look it up. We have not had a case of trichinosis in the United States, I want to say, since the 30s. It's just not a concern anymore because we take care of the meat that we process, and that kind of shit is just it's almost unheard of anymore. So quit overcooking your pork. You don't need to. Just if it's a nice greasy cut, like I was talking about earlier, like with like a Boston butt or shoulder cut like that, and it's got a lot of fat in it, you can just cook it and let it fall apart. Like they make the Mexican carnitas, right? It's got so much fat content that when it comes out, no matter how you've cooked it, it comes out juicy. But if you got a dry cut of pork, stop overcooking it, man. If you get a big friggin' loin chop, you ever spend a bunch of money on a 2-inch friggin' loin chop for the grill? You know what I mean? And then someone just burns it up and it's fucking sucking all the moisture out of your head, and you're biting your tongue, and your teeth are sticking together because the fucking meat is so goddamn dry. Ugh, embarrassing, man. Quit that. Get a fucking thermometer if you have to, or just use a fork with the tenderness, that you're looking for the springiness that's still there. You're looking for resistance, right? When you poke a fork in, as soon as that fork goes through that fucking pork chop, man, it is done. If you feel resistance because the meat's not cooked, then you feel that resistance. But man, it's just such a shame to see the money people spend on like a good pork chop like that and then overcooking it. Because if you make it nice and juicy on the grill, man, it's good eating. Wife and daughter prefer dry pork and chicken. That's just disgusting. What's up, the Balrog? Good to see you, buddy. You shall not pass. I brought a drink and didn't open it. But I know people like that, and they just don't notice. I'm like, what is that about? I made a chicken breast on the grill once, and it wasn't on there more than a couple of minutes, and it was done. You poke this fork through, and it's done. I get people like, that's not done. That's not done. Just because I didn't have it on there for a certain amount of time, And it turns out that they're just paranoid. They don't want the idea that maybe it's undercooked in any kind of way, and so they'll fucking burn it, man. And first of all, if you're eating chicken breasts, you got an issue anyway. It's just the worst fucking protein, chicken breasts. Dried up, flavorless shit. Um, Anyone who doesn't prefer dark meat, chicken is not with the program. White meats. It wasn't used to be this way. I'm old enough to remember a time before the health kick in the '70s and '80s. Late '70s, I want to say, is when that shit really, cholesterol started becoming a headline, right? And we had to do all this stuff, no cholesterol oil. All McDonald's and all the fast food places changed to no cholesterol oil. Dunkin' Donuts stopped frying in cholesterol oil, and white meat chicken became like, oh, this is the way to white meat chicken, white meat chicken, white meat chicken fucking sucks, man. It's awful. I don't know why anybody would eat a breast unless it's fried. If you get a fried piece of fried chicken, then it stays juicy, and you can make it without overcooking it. But people who pretend to prefer breast meat over dark meat, they have no taste buds. There's no comparison. You enjoy a good chicken tit? I'll eat a chicken tit, but it's got to be breaded and Parmesan. I'll make veal. I'll make chicken Parmesan out of breast meat. And slice it, bread it, fry it quick, and then it stays juicy. And it's got some flavor to it. Make chicken tikka masala with white meat. I don't not use white meat chicken, but there's no comparison to the dark meat. What's up, octopus on the roof, Carly? I haven't seen you in a minute. Thanks for being here. I am turkey white meat. How do you do that without? I mean, if I make it, I make sure that the white meat stays fairly juicy, and then I can eat some white meat. But I'm finding myself I gotta have a bite of the skin with the white meat, just to fucking make it juicy at all. You're sweet. I miss your face. Where you been, Carly? Turkey's good all the way around. There you go. That a girl. I like turkey too. Low and slow with smoke. That's a great way to do it. The skin is the best part. Thank you, Balrog. Of course it is. Why is chicken skin so good? It's so bad for you. What's up, Sudhir Patel? He's what is that? Beer and he's sending the icons, beer and emojis, beer and what? They're too small. You guys have that problem? Or you're like me or this one? Like, what is that? I can't tell what these little emojis are half the time. Smoked is the best way to cook meat of all kinds. Yeah, I agree. In fact, there's a place down the road. There's a butcher that'll smoke your turkey for them if you ordered it in time. And I never have yet to try to do that because I like a hot, fresh turkey. But yeah, smoked. Man, like I was saying, man, if you just walk around with a smoked turkey, like it doesn't get any better than that. Ever tried pig skin? Well, I'll try pig skin. We call it pork rinds. We call it pork rinds in America. Chicharrón, right? Chicharrones in Spanish. Drop that pig skin in the deep fryer and blows up like that. And man, is it tasty. You like chicharrón, my friend? You know what they call fried chicken in Puerto Rico? In Mexico, it's just pollo frito. In Puerto Rico, they call it chicharrón de pollo. Who knew? Chicharrón must imply something else besides the pork skin. But yeah, I'm not. I don't know who doesn't love chicharrón. Someone asked if human skin would taste good. Pig skin is super close. We have a lot in common with pigs, don't we? That's why they're using valves, pig heart valves. Well, anatomically, we have a lot in common with pigs. Don't somebody else told me that human flesh would taste like pig flesh, and it makes sense because we're omnivores, right? And the whole thing about pigs is they'll fucking eat anything, and so will we. So it would make sense that our flesh tasted like the tasty pig. Jeddah, not a fan of the Thanksgiving meal. No, you don't like that? See, you probably just haven't had a good one, man. But I don't know what's better than mashed potatoes and gravy. That's the bad thing about frying a turkey, right? If I deep fry the turkey, you don't get any gravy. And I'm a gravy guy, man. I'm a gravaholic. I love it. I make the mashed potatoes, put the volcano, put the lake in it. You know what I mean? And then fill up the depression in the mashed potatoes with that good gravy. But you can't get gravy if you make a deep fried turkey. There's nothing to make it with. So I'll have to deal with that. Deviled eggs is awesome. Who the fuck doesn't love deviled eggs? Thanks. My life is a trucker. Have you ever tried dirt cake? No. Spiral sliced ham. I'm okay with ham. I eat ham, but I don't enjoy it as my main meat in a meal. You know what I mean? Ham to me goes with eggs. Ham's what you put in pea soup. Ham's like, I don't know. Ham is your main meat. It doesn't thrill me, man. It's too salty. I'd rather have most other. I like ham okay, but I'm almost every other meat. I think I would prefer to ham. Thanks, Tempa Count 1 2 3 4 5. You're sweet. I love you too. Yeah, you too about the ham. Yeah, I don't. If somebody makes a good ham and it's a nice ham, I don't bitch, but I'd rather have fresh pork every day. Have fun. Jesus came to tell you people to just keep on keeping on. Did he? What's made with Oreos? Thanks for the gifts, Mr. Tripp. Appreciate you. Make a roux. You can do any gravy from there. You got to have some drippings off the turkey, though. You know what I mean? I know how to make gravy, but if you don't leave yourself with any fat from the turkey because you put it in a deep fryer, it's hard to get any turkey flavor in your roux. Smoked deviled eggs. That sounds awesome, man. How does that work? You have to hard boil the eggs first, right? You don't smoke the eggs hard, do you? It sounds great. Smoke flavor on a deviled egg sounds great. See, that's something like put like little tiny bits of ham on the deviled egg. That sounds good to me. That's Greedy Paul. Awesome idea, Greedy Paul. I will definitely come and try your smoked deviled eggs, but I don't know how to get them. You should send me some. When the government kills the food supply, humans will have to eat each other. That'll fucking drive the population down. I'll have the taters and green bean casserole. You vegetarian? You like the green bean casserole? It comes out mushy, right? I like green beans, but I like them crispy. And that green bean casserole with the mushy green beans, I don't hate it, but it's got some textural issues. Yeah, Kevin Rubik's, you're right. Homemade mashed potatoes and gravy. It doesn't get much better than that. I mean, that's just comfort food. That's comfort food 101, my friend. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, and stuffing. I own bulldogs that are very much like pigs, are they? Yeah, pigs are smart. I love pork skin. It's amazing. It is amazing. I'm rolling back through the messages here to see what I missed. We do broccoli casserole instead of green beans. I've had that too. It does still come out mushy though, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm with you. I eat less than us. Kelpie 83. Not a vegetarian, but I lean that way. That's kind of the way I see myself these days. Soft boil and shell the eggs, and then smoke low for 30. And then what? And then you cut them in half and scoop the shit out and make your stuffing and put them back together. Um, that's smooth, man. Corn casserole, yeah. Who doesn't love that, man? Homemade cream corn too, man. Oh god, there's a barbecue place that made this homemade cream corn. That like if you're used to cream corn from a can, like I always like that was okay, as a kid. I liked the cream corn from a can. But if you like have a homemade recipe for cream corn, oh, it's mouth watering. God, is that fucking good. Hey, can I interject? I may have missed your rules. What? You can interject. Taking off, Mr. Tripp. Thank you, man. Thanks for being here. Try some orange shavings in your cranberries. That's a good one. Cranberries goes with orange. We ever make cranberry orange juice, cran orange? Do that. So it makes sense. Orange shavings in your cranberries. Good one. Thank you. 70s rocks. Mario Mars one. Tamale rojos are absolutely amazing. I like pork tamales in red sauce. Those are my go-to tamales. But you're right. That's good shit. I don't think I'll have any tamales. You know what? I got some portobello mushroom tamales. They come from a gourmet shop down the road here. That's fucking fantastic. They're in my freezer, and God, it's a great product. Because tamales, they're fucking gorgeous, aren't they? There's nothing tastier than a tamale, but that's not exactly health food. Homemade yeast rolls and honey butter. Yikes. That sounds wonderful. You're in California for 2 weeks and then moving to Iowa. Greedy Paul. Sorry, man. What are you going to Iowa for? I advise staying in California. No, that's all right. Iowa's cool. What's up, Anna Breaks for Fraggles? How you doing? Good to see you, girl. Yeah, portobellos are good, right? This is a great place. There's a place that grows mushrooms. It's a mushroom farm. That's why they grow mushrooms. Um, but they have a gourmet shop too, so you can go there and just like buy mushrooms of all different kinds, man. And they've got them bagged up for you. But they also run like a gourmet shop where they make all of these fucking products, and then they bring a lot of products in too. But like you know, gourmet relishes and uh, garlic spreads with 5 different cheeses in them that you can use to make garlic bread. It's awesome. They'll have like organic meats there that they get from some local organic meat producer, butcher guy. It's a great store out west in the county here in Kenosha. Um, but I always stop by and I get these 3 packs of portobello mushroom tamales, and they're honestly just fantastic. It's nice white corn masa that they use. Um, Talking about here, I'm back in Kenosha. I was gone when the trial wrapped up, but we knew he was getting off, and the judge made it obvious that he was biased in the beginning. Um, Christian nationalist reading from the Bible, not allowing the victims to be called victims. And what the fuck are they if they're not victims? They're fucking dead. What the hell? But we knew he was going to get off. There was no appetite for throwing him in jail when the appearance was that he came here to help quell the rioters, and all of the footage shows him acting in self-defense. There's not a lot you can really argue about when you look what they were actually trying him for. If they could have tried him for being stupid and leaving his mama's titty and his fucking video game and coming to a different state just to be involved in a hot riot because he wanted to come and kill people, then maybe he'd have gotten convicted. But thankfully he didn't shoot any black people, or we'd probably be burning the town down again because he wasn't going to get convicted no matter what. The cops were happy to have him here. They said so. The prosecution made a shit show out of their prosecution, right? The one witness is like, "Well, yeah, I waved a gun in his face." What the fuck, man? Of course you got shot then, But it's I'm reading Sin for Atheists, watching Tiger King in the background. Sorry, not sorry. That's all right, man. Please do. You got Tiger King Part 2 is out. Boy, that's some white people shit, isn't it? Man, when I watched that with my girlfriend, we were just like, "Are you kidding me, Tiger King? This guy." So yeah, no, don't be sorry. I do go to Chicago. Yeah, I go to Chicago more often than I go to Milwaukee. We're closer to Milwaukee. Yeah, I love Chicago. I was just there the other day. Stopped and saw a friend of mine. I'm way out of town watching Dope Sick on Hulu. Wow, I'll have to check that out. Is that good? Hulu's got some decent shows on it, doesn't it? I'm not paying the extra money, so I have to put up with the commercials on Hulu, which bugs me. Um, but yeah, what did we else we just watched on Hulu? It was actually pretty good. Yeah, it's about the opioid crisis, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. That's scary shit. That makes me itchy to watch. I'll have to check that out though. And then what was the other verdict you were talking about, right? They sent those guys up, right, for killing that black kid. What was his name? Um, Georgia? Is that where it was? Right? Is that what you wanted to talk about? Uh, Arbery. Yeah. A jury found 3 white men charged in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, a 25-year-old black man, guilty on multiple murder counts as well as other charges. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah, good for those fuckers. I mean, I didn't see a lot about this trial going into it. Um, but I think these guys were not going to get off this one. This is one where they're like, you know, the worst fucking cracker jury in the world was going to have to find these assholes guilty for what they did, and they deserve it. I hope they rot in fucking jail. Their goose is cooked, yeah, for real. Top of the evening to you, Yeman. What's up? The three guys, yeah, you're right. Hello, traveler. I'm in West Indiana. Chicago gets a bad rap from the media. In Northwest Indiana? So you're right there by Chicago. How do they get a bad rap from the media? Just because it's a Democrat town, it's a liberal town. I love Chicago, man. Who are you talking about, Kevin? Who field experts who evaluated who? Who are you talking about there? Ever read reviews for 5-pound bag of sugar-free gummy bears? Those are the ones that make you shit yourself all over the place or whatever. I'm downstate Illinois, and everyone hates Chicago for whatever reason. Yeah, because it keeps Illinois a blue state, right? Illinois would be nothing but a shithole red state of Trumpy assholes if it wasn't for the population north of I-80. So to me, that's a badge of honor. If I lived, I did live in Chicago for years. It's a great fucking town, and the rest of Illinois owes a debt of gratitude to Chicago for being there. You'd all be nothing but a bunch of fucking hillbillies if it weren't for Chicago. We're flatlanders, and there's no hills in Illinois, so I guess hillbillies doesn't really work. But yeah, I've known that for a long time. If you live in the country downstate, then you just think Chicago is a breeding ground of whatever godless sin and hedonistic pursuits and whatever LGBTQ people and everything that the Trumpy crackers hate. But yeah, Chicago's fucking great. Who doesn't love Chicago? There are hills in far southern Illinois. Yeah, there are. Once you get down by Carbondale and stuff. Yeah, I know. But no, most of the middle of Illinois pretty damn flat. You're so welcome, Nana in Virginia. Thanks for being here. Thank you for you're making sweet potato souffle. So there's something fun to do with sweet potatoes, man. I like sweet potatoes anyway, but people are always like, what do you do with them? I'm one of those people. I'm like, I don't. They're okay to eat like some candied yams or something. You make the sweet potatoes and you put all kinds of but they're sweet anyway. And then you're like glossing them up with honey and sugar and brown sugar or molasses, whatever it is, to make them even sweeter. I'd like to see something else done with sweet potatoes to make them less sickly sweet. But they're great for you. So I just bake them on the friggin' grill and eat them like that. Chicago, one of my favorite cities too. I was just in Boston, also one of my favorite cities. But yeah, I don't know who doesn't love Chicago, especially if you're in a position to visit. Gia, you live in Northwest Illinois? Where at, girl? We're close. Where you at? Kevin doesn't like sweet potatoes. No taste. I think they got lots of taste, man. I mix the fries out of them. You got to stay away from Cicero on the west side. Do you know Chicago? I used to work in Cicero. No exaggeration. You used to have to run the gauntlet of prostitutes on the Chicago Cicero border to get to where I worked. There's no straight way to get there on the highway, so I would just come overland. And at some point, they're like, the border is they hung out on the border so they could jump between towns. You see the cops from Cicero coming, you cross over to Chicago. But man, the west side of Chicago and Austin, and then Cicero. Yeah, there's some skanky parts of town over there. You in Roscoe, Gigia? Really? I know where Roscoe is. Well, I went to Beloit, so I do know Roscoe, but that's a tiny town. What are you doing in Roscoe? Una mexicanita. What are you doing in Roscoe, Illinois, girl? Thanks for the likes, Nana. Appreciate you. Did you lived in Beloit too? Oh my god, we should totally get together and party out there. It's been so long since I've been out there. Lori Lightfoot is an inspiring leader, and things are improving. Yeah, good to hear you say that. I mean, again, it's like, oh, Lori Lightfoot, lesbian, Democrat, black chick, all this, all of the haters. The way Trump hates on democratic cities that won't just suck his ass and fall into his fucking, uh, you know, his world order that he's the way he cries about democratic cities makes me laugh. It just makes me fucking laugh. So I'm glad to hear. I don't know. I don't live there anymore, so I don't know. But I was really proud of them for electing uh, Lori Lightfoot. Am I in the band Grand Funk Railroad? I'm not even that old. Piddlepuck 23. Thanks, man. No, I'm not in Grand Funk Railroad. Why? What about Grand Funk? What made you think that? Um, cool stuff. Grand Funk, good music from the '70s. Murder rates are just tiny part of Windy City charm. Nah, they got nothing. Murder rates in Chicago are nothing compared to Milwaukee and Detroit, I don't think. I love that name, Piddlepuck, by the way. I'm going to give you one for that. Piddlepuck 23. Have you seen the video of the girl that makes the train whistle sound with her mouth? No, but I knew a guy who used to jump up behind you and do that with his mouth. He was an old Italian guy, grandfather of my good buddy. And he used to come up behind you and do it with his mouth. Boop, boop. I can't even do it. I choked myself trying. He used to do it. It didn't sound exactly like this, but it sounded like a fucking train when you heard it. You were like, Jesus, the train coming through the living room at us. That's funny. When I left, we were talking about pigskin, and now Trump. Is pigs today's topic? I know. Don't you think of Trump as a pig? As just, I think it's an insult to pigs, but I find myself calling him a pig all the time because I really think it fits. Um, just in that way. What a pig of a human being. St. Louis is awesome. I'm on the Illinois side of the metro. St. Louis is awful hot in the summer. I know that. Yeah, if only they had more Bibles, they wouldn't murder as much. Yeah, that'd probably do it. Funny how prisons are full of Jesus, though, aren't they? Peace to you, Piddlepuck. The murderers in Georgia got their justice, right? Yeah, they did. It looks like, hopefully they'll, have a rough time of it in jail. Um, unfucking believable. It's 2021 and we got shit like this going on. Really blows me away. You guys quiet on YouTube. I see you out there. There's a few of you out there, but no. What's my opinion on Rittenhouse? Chris Burrows asks, if I saw Kyle Rittenhouse, I'd throat punch him. I'd beat his fucking ass and leave him laying in the fucking street. That's my opinion on Rittenhouse. The only two people who died in those riots were the people he killed in self-defense. Yeah, he got off in self-defense. What the fuck was he even doing here? It disgusts me so much that this asshole thought that he could come from another town, pick up a gun from his buddy, and just enter an active riot zone, make things worse measurably, and then get away with it. He's a fucking pig. He should have stayed home with his fucking mama, playing his fucking Call of Duty with his fucking bag of fucking Doritos, and none of this would have happened. And now, the great irony is that he's going to get rich now, right? He's scot free. He can sue the government for Biden called him a terrorist, I think, and what something else, right? He called him a terrorist and I forget what else, but he's going to sell movie rights. He's going to write his own book. It's just like, we've taken this fucking piece of shit who was frankly lucky he didn't get his face shot off. Had no idea what he was doing, untrained, idiot, bad decisions, goes to Kenosha to kill black people, ends up killing 2 white people. Um, and again, I don't think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody else died in those riots. So if this fucker stays home, nobody dies. Yeah, well, a nationalist, call him a white supremacist, and that's what it was. Thank you, Kelpie. Again, Biden, half a fucking idiot, doesn't help his cause with shit like that. Um, Nothing like a middle-aged man in a train conductor cap talking tough to an 18-year-old. Yeah, you're right. There is nothing like it. And again, send him over here, and I'll kick his fucking ass for him. It's just the whole thing is fucking disgusting. He needed someone talking to him like I talked to him before he left his mama's titty that night to come out here. But I know there's a lot of like Rittenhouse apologists out there. It's like, oh, it's not the fact. Did you see the video? Yeah, you can't really argue with the verdict. I can't. It's a shame that he had to fucking come here at all and kill people. And now he got off for it. Kid needs a parent. Yeah, you saw his parent, right, crying, and his mom was crying. But, my boy. And Kyle's up on the stand right now. I brought a gun to a riot, and then bad things happen. I don't know why it happened. Why? Fucking idiot. You fucking left home and you brought a gun and 2 people are dead from it. Who brings a 17-year-old to the protest? He did. He brought himself. He wouldn't have had to defend himself if he stayed the fuck home. Yeah, once he was there, yeah, somebody pointed a gun at him. He had a gun. He shot back. What are you gonna do? That's what he was on trial for. He should have been on trial for for having come to a fucking riot zone where he had no business being and bringing a fucking gun. But no, he's a hero to every Trumpy asshole in the fucking world who cares more about property damage than they do about Black lives. Period. It's just another fucking example. It's okay to answer violence against a human being, or it's okay to answer violence against buildings with violence against a human being, but it's not okay to answer violence against a human being with violence against property. Does anybody else not see that disconnect? Right? It's okay if a black person gets shot to death or crippled in the street, the people who come out and damage property as a response to this, whether that's right or wrong, those people are treated like worse criminals than the people who come and shoot people, kill people to protect the property that's being damaged. So it's okay to kill someone in defense of property. It's not okay to kill property in defense of having gotten one of your friends shot. It's fucked up. It's just the priorities. But all we hear is, how does businesses get it? How does that help? And there's rioters. No one's defending the actual rioting, but that's a symptom of the disease. If you get rid of the fucking symptom, or if you get rid of the disease, the symptom goes away. You can't blame the boils that you get as a side effect of the disease that you have. You can't get mad at the boils and continue to treat the boils. You have to treat the diseases causing the boils, right? Well, if Black Lives Matter riots are the boils, the disease is systemic racism. And once that shit goes away, no one will have a reason to riot. And then if they do riot, you really can say, well, here's a rioter that needs to go to jail for rioting. But right now, people are fucking frustrated with the way they're getting fucking treated. And none of this excusing of the rioters, excusing of the anti-riot rioters, excusing of the people who bring guns to another town to shoot people who are rioting. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Guy mowing down people in a parade gets almost zero honest coverage. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of the coverage that was traveling. I saw it when it happened that night, but I don't know a whole lot about what the guy had going on. I guess it was a black dude, right, who just was pissed, and he had already killed, or he already run over somebody, right? His baby mama or something. He already tried to use his car as a weapon and went to jail for it. Now he's coming out and fucking, I don't know. But maybe not a boomer, kids. You got something to say about the guy mowing down people in the parade? What's been dishonest about the coverage? I'm honestly asking, because I really haven't seen much coverage since the night it happened, when they didn't know anything. Right wingers thinking he had the right to shoot over a dumpster fire when he's part of the dumpster fire. Yeah, yeah. Got to go chat with your lover. All right, peace to you, greedy Paul. Appreciate you for being here. Have you seen those people that pray to Trump as if he is a god? No. Are people praying to Trump now? Well, at least Trump's real. If that's worth anything, I don't know. Does he hear their prayers? Is he like, wait, I got some prayers coming in. Wait, I don't know. It was just indigestion. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny that our court system works for Kyle, but not for the election fraud cases. Yeah, it's funny how they, you know, Bell was a violent scumbag going after a woman when he went for knife against police. Are we talking about Michael Bell? Did someone bring up Michael Bell from Kenosha? Or are we talking about somebody else? I'm going back through here. Yeah, Kelpie, we definitely need teenagers out there with automatic weapons. Yeah. His mom dropped him off in a van, did she? I missed what started you talking about? Bell, not a boomer, kids. How did that come up? Bell was a violent scumbag going after a woman when he went for knife against police. Hello from Brazil. What's up? DFDNZE. Dividends. What's up? Bom dia. In Brazil, or I guess it's nighttime in Brazil too, isn't it? That's all I know how to say in Portuguese. Hard Trumpers, the worst type of people. They're deplorables. I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me what's wrong with the term deplorables. Remember when Hillary got in so much trouble for calling Trumpies deplorables? What's wrong with it? What? It's an absolutely apt description of Trumpy people. She was right on the fucking money. Who signed Bibles? There are literally Sunday worship services dedicated to Trump. Where is this happening? Living blindly. Thanks, man. I'm not. I'm gonna have to look into that because that's fucking crazy. I mean, that's taking it a step too far. I mean, I get, loving him and wanting him to be president and thinking that God wants him to be president too. I get all that if you're that kind of stupid idiot. Um, but to pray to Trump, like you actually think that he's gonna fucking be able to hear your prayer or do something? But what is wrong with people? That's just like more deluded than ever. Racism will never go away. It will just mutate into some other form of hate. I don't know. I'm an optimist. I think it'll probably go away a long time later, after our lifetime. I'm left winger, but hate the Democratic Party, so I just don't vote. You see, yeah, I'm with you, man, but that doesn't get it done. You really need to vote, even if you're voting on the lesser of two evils. You can't turn your back on that responsibility, man. They started calling themselves deplorables and using it as a badge of honor. Yeah, yeah, they're happy to be deplorable. You're right, they did. You're right. One guy left Christianity because he thought Jesus was probably like Trump, but just made to look good. I don't know what that means, man. What's up, Jeff? TikTok, please don't ban me. Where you been, dude? I was thinking about you today, man. How's life? You doing some trolling? Dudism. That's Romans 80:36. Romans 8. Romans 8:36. We have to look one up. We got a guy wearing a Bible verse for a fucking TikTok handle. That's crazy, man. Romans 8:36. Anyone know what that one is? For your sake we face death all day long. We are considered as sheep to be slaughtered. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to read any further into that. That's an odd yeah, there it is. Romans 8:36. It's the best. Yeah, yeah, I'm reading it right here. For your sake we face death all day long. We are considered as sheep to be slaughtered. How's that relevant? I mean, taken out of context here, it doesn't mean anything. Who are considered to be sheep to be slaughtered? The early Christians, they face death every day for our sake. Um, if I see the video again of a guy comparing Jesus to Trump, I'll tag you in it. Yeah, see, Jesus didn't have that stupid comb over. You know what I mean? What's up, Richard Hitchens? Where you been, man? Good to see you, man. My friend from down under. I still see you rocking that account, man. They haven't banned you yet, Jeff. He's going. I'm socially liberal and a moderate in economics. I don't really have a party who represents me. Yeah, see, now I'm with you, man. This is a common problem these days. The parties don't represent anybody. They don't. Most people are more socially progressive than the older generations, right? But that doesn't mean you're necessarily fiscally a liberal, right? I know a lot of social or fiscal conservatives who understand the need for social progression. So where's that party that represents that group? You know what I mean? And and I'm the same way. I, I'm I'm on the left, but I'm not. The Democrats are they're fuck ups, man. They're not. They don't represent me. They still pander to God. They don't know how to fight back. They don't. They don't. They don't want to break things down and start over. They want to reform everything, right? I'm not a tax and spend guy, So I think there's a real issue in America right now with the need for a party, a third party. Um, who sounds almost libertarian? Yeah, I wish I could be a libertarian, but again, in the end, um, you need some kind of safety net. That's one of those things you can never do true libertarianism anymore again, because you're just never going to have that that common ground, that level playing field where everybody can start with equal opportunity. It's just never going to happen. America's too big and too old for that to happen. So I mean, we do need social programs, and that's but libertarianism has got a lot. There's a lot to be said for it. Um, you would vote libertarian, but I just think there's too many people. What do you mean? Yeah, the libertarians aren't, as a party, they aren't going anywhere, and I think they need to adjust the way they do business. Thanks, Romans 8:36. Have a lovely holiday yourself, buddy. You're a registered Democrat just to participate in the primaries. Yeah, I am too, to do that same thing. And I just think it's, the Republicans have just gone too far off the rails for me. Hello, mental health gardening. What's going on? Life is not fair. I never had a chance against LeBron physically, and he never had a chance mentally. Yeah. Uh, too much infighting in the Libertarian Party. Is that what it is? I support social programs, but not identity politics. This is really the issue, isn't it? Identity politics ends up as all we have in American politics anymore, and it doesn't represent anybody. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's designed like the mega churches are, to water down the message and show people just this is what we stand for, and if you're one of us, this is what you stand for. take it or leave it. And it's like not the way it used to be. You used to be able to pick and choose. You could be a Republican and still be pro-choice. And now it's like, no, if you're a Republican, you have to be pro-life. You have to be Christian. You have to be, against any kind of social programs. You have to be all these things, and none of it adds up to a whole person. You've got one party that's pandering to the far right, and one that's pandering to the far left. Is the practical, pragmatic party of compromise, the party that can make us purple again, the party that represents the modern person, the person who understands that the days of not equal rights for people are over, and that we need to get past that, and that we need to progress socially as people, but that doesn't need to dictate how we run the government in other ways. You know what I mean? There's just it's become this polarization where there's very few people that actually identify completely with the right or the left. But here we go, and then we got the media out there doing what it can to make you feel like you have to identify with one of these things. The Mad Hatter, where you been? Pro-life is a joke. It really is. It's such a fucking joke. I heard someone say it perfectly well. It's like, you're right. These fetuses do have the same human rights as everybody else. So go ahead, remove it, and let it sustain itself like the rest of us. It should have every opportunity to do so, just like the rest of the human beings that are out there. So go ahead, let it, remove it from its host, let it fucking take care of itself, and it can have equal rights. You're playing Dungeons and Dragons tonight, you dork. Did you have your community get together down at you guys do it down at a gaming parlor, or do you get together at somebody's house? Pea Soup Doughboy, to you, my friend. Republican congressman really mad about infrastructure bill. Fuck them. We used to go to a shop, and now we just go to my buddy's house. Yeah. What happened to the shop? Shut down because of COVID. Babies don't sustain themselves. Heck, virtually no adults do. That's true, man. I'm rolling back through the credits to see. There's our guy. Ooh. And the guys in local parties were all perverts and scared all the ladies off. Chris Farrell's. You're probably right about that. Random good news: the holes in the ozone have decreased in size. Nice, man. That's good. Even you atheists have a happy Thanksgiving. You too, man. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Not a boomer, kids. There's a Dudism church and university. That's awesome. Where are those places at? Feel like I might be able to get into a Dudist university still. Yeah, you haven't seen the rest of the shirt here. I can turn it around for you. So, the dude abides. That's what it says. See, dude abides. Instead of the Lord abides, it's the dude abides. This shirt is getting old, man. It's starting to get threadbare. I've had it for a lot longer than I've been doing this. That's for sure. And I just got it as a T-shirt, And then it dawned on me that I'm like, this is a pretty good T-shirt for the atheist program, man. What is Dudism? Dudism is just a play on the Big Lebowski. If you've not watched the Big Lebowski and you don't know who the dude is, dude just wants his rug back. So Dudism is, a religion that is cropped up around the legend of the dude, and the Dudist principles revolve mostly around treating people like a dude, and being a dude all the time, and it's really as simple as that, you know. But it's turned into a whole thing where you can get like a certificate online and become an actual dudist, uh, sacerdote, priest, whatever the hell they want to call it. Um, yeah, if you haven't seen The Big Lebowski and you don't know what this is, then you need to do yourself a favor. Rent that movie, man. Uh, you're right. You're right. Non crazy crazy cat lady says I need to become a dudist already. I should. I should definitely do that, dude. Is this bipartisan TikTok account? I don't know what's that. What does that mean? It's mine, so there's only one party, I think, being that it's mine. But we we welcome people from both sides of the political spectrum. We need conservative atheists. I don't have any issue with that. We got people out there. There's Penn and other people who are fiscally conservative, but they're not out there trying to demonize the LGBT community either. They're just they don't want to. They're not into the welfare state that rampant social programs have left us with, and I think there's nothing wrong. Again, we need socialism. We need social programs. They need well thought out. They need paid for the right way. They need to be, they need to be created the right way so that they don't reward laziness, so that they don't take away people's impetus to go to work at all. Um, but the atheist movement needs everybody. We're not trying to get rid of the uh, the conservative people within atheism, because we need atheism to care about atheism. We don't need atheism to involve itself in politics to that degree. We need people to care about a secular government, and we need people to care about ending the indoctrination of children. And we don't care whether they're conservative or liberal. It doesn't do this movement any good. It does not do atheism any good to be identified completely with ultra leftist politics, because it's not about that. How are we ever going to get together and rid the country of a theocracy if we cannot work together within our movement on both sides of the political spectrum? And to me, this is a great failing right now in the atheist movement. It's been co-opted by all these other movements because we're expected to stick up for LGBTQ, which is fine. We're expected to stick up for Black Lives Matter. We're expected to be feminists and all these things, and they're not. It's not germane to atheism. I'm not pretending that we shouldn't be for those things, but I think that if you're going to be in the atheist movement, you should make the atheist movement be about atheism, not be about liberalism, not be about lefticism, not be about the opposite of the Christian right, because those people are all Republicans. We need good Republican atheists too, and leave that discourse to the political arena. Let's work on normalizing secularism, getting back to the point where this is a country run by the people, for the people, of the people, not by the Christians, for the Christians, and of the Christians, right? We need civil government to work for the civic good of fucking everybody. Yeah, aligning the atheist movement on the left only fortifies the evangelical alignment on the right. Is exactly right. Lightbulb 054. It's just like, let's leave that shit out of it, and let's work on atheism for atheism's sake, and let political discourse take its own course in the halls where that's appropriate. It kills me how many of the other movements feel like the atheist movement needs to support them, but none of those movements support atheism necessarily, right? If you go to the Pride Parade, they're not out there going out of their way not to offend atheists. You're liable to see a lot of gay ministers and preachers and whatever else um, out there at the gay Pride Parade, trying to be a Christian, or trying to be religious, or trying to say a prayer, or trying to and nobody cares about offending the atheists. But let an atheist movement say, let something run afoul of the LGBTQ movement, and atheism has to take it up the ass for that. It's like there's this double standard, and I'm fully on board. I'm not that guy. I'm not. I am for social justice, and I do support all those other movements, but I don't think we get mutual respect. And I've said that before, and I'll say it again. I'm tired of it, We need the love coming back at us. If we're gonna love and give all that love out, we need love coming back for our movement too. And we don't see it. My girlfriend's family is Catholic, and I have to go tomorrow. Not really happy about it. I'm so glad those days are over. When I was married, the ex-wife is an atheist. Her whole family Catholic and hardcore stupid Catholic. Um, Blind faith, unthinking, just drinking the Kool-Aid Catholic. And they all knew I was an atheist and they all fucking hated it. And I wouldn't bring up atheism. I'd go over to Thanksgiving and bow my head if there's a prayer and shut up and eat the meal. But at one of these Thanksgiving dinners, my aunt-in-law, that's a thing, leaned over the table at my, then she was probably 14 or 15-year-old daughter and pointed in her face like this, "There is a God." She's going like this, "There is a God." Man, the mirroring fucks me up. "There is a God." She's pointing to my daughter. And I'm thinking to myself, if I pointed at your daughter or your granddaughter, more appropriately, who she was there, this 8, 9, 10-year-old kid, and told her there was no God, you think that would be acceptable at Sunday dinner, at Thanksgiving dinner? But you think it's perfectly okay to lean over the dinner table at someone else's child and tell them that you know there's a God and wag your finger in their face. What the fuck is wrong with people? This is what we have to deal with as atheists in America. She didn't even think twice about doing that. Something that if anyone had done it to her, she would have been so completely offended that you'd have never heard the end of it. But here I go to her house and I have to put up with all this kind of shit. And this is like not even like a thinking person. This is literally one of the stupidest people you'll ever want to meet. This person was so stupid that I brought a Finusta cheese. You know what this is? This is like Finnish cheese that you melt, right? In it, and then they serve it with jelly and on bread. It's fucking delicious, right? It's melted mild cheese, like Saganaki, kind of. I guess would be a close thing to it. And I brought it over for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, put this in the oven for 5 minutes and melt it. The bitch put it in the microwave for 5 minutes. Cheese in the microwave for 5 minutes. I know she did it on purpose to me because I was an atheist, you know. And then she brought it out. She's like, "Oh, I think I ruined it." And I'm like, "Ruined it? You put it in the microwave for 5 minutes. It's like it's not even cheese anymore. It's like a building material from Mars. It's like it turned into this unbelievably hard, rubbery, weird substance. You could have used it for a friggin' I don't know what one of those rubber ramps that they put over the cables at the concert. So I mean, it was just like turned into a foreign substance. This idiot, and I bit my tongue and I'm like, yeah, it's all right. But who thinks that the microwave is the same as the oven? This is how smart this woman is. But she knows there's a God. She doesn't know the difference between an oven and a microwave oven. It was Kevin. It was like friggin' a polymer that had yet to be discovered. Yes, thank you. Why would you put cheese in the microwave? Thank you. I mean, cheese in the microwave for like 5 seconds. If I'm making a hot dog and I want to melt some cheese on it real quick, you put it in there for a couple of seconds. But putting cheese in the microwave for any kind of length of time, it's like you have to be a moron not to know that you can't do that to cheese. She ruined like a $7 block of fucking beautiful cheese that would have given us all a heart attack that night, filled our veins with cholesterol, and filled our bellies with tasty, tasty finished cheese melt. And this idiot ruined it. She did to your food what belief in God does to society. It's true, man. She just baked it. I don't like it when people ask me what church I go to because I'm an atheist. I tell them I don't believe in the old myths. I'm like, thanks for inviting me. It happens all the time. People are like, what do you have a church? We have a really nice church. Are you interested? No, I don't believe in the old mythologies. Thank you for offering, though. You have a good time with that. And then they look at you like, oh, mythologies. What's mythology again here? Yeah, yeah. Of course I put cheese on a hot dog. You've never had a Fran cheesy? Yeah, hot dog's too plain. Hot dog's too plain. There's nothing better than chili cheese dog for one thing. I make a hot dog, I put chili and cheese on it, and I split the hot dog so that I can lay a little cheese log in the middle of the hot dog so that it melts, and then the chili on top of that. Um, and mustard, and maybe some little white onions, maybe a little bit. I don't really need the onions, but um, Yeah, yeah, of course. I put cheese on nearly everything. Book recommendation: Sapiens by Yuval Harari. You would really like it. Thanks, man. Want to write that down. TikTok ideas. Sapiens by who? Oh, where'd it go? Yuval Harari. Wrote that one down. I've gotten one. Who keeps pushing me to watch American Gods? I actually found it. uh, but that's not on HBO. I think it was on Prime or something. But I think I watched it. Got the great Ian McShane in it. I did not know that. Hot peppers and onions. Yeah, that's good too. But yeah, I don't know why wouldn't you put cheese on a hot dog? Why do you think people have such strong religious beliefs? I want to know the psychology behind it. Um, yeah, I've talked to psychologists about it, and it's again, it's natural for humans to want to see patterns and order where none exist. It's a comfort mechanism for our brain. So, anything that cannot be explained, if you find a way for people to explain it, it makes them feel comfortable. So it's a pretty common phenomenon. It's in our nature, and we're evolving away from our nature in some ways. The empathy for caring. Somebody brought this up before. The empathy for caring for sick people, for handicapped youth, for babies that we might have left on an iceberg had they been born deformed back in the day. These things go against evolution. Caring for old people into their dotage. These things are counterindicated by evolution, but we have evolved past the point where we simply live by natural selection, right? We have brains that consider other things, and so we'll do things that aren't necessarily in line with natural selection anymore. So, um, uh, the to answer your question though, people believe in religion and are psychologically wired to since time immemorial because it makes them feel better about the unknown, plain and simple. And most people can't get past that. It's the same reason why most people are followers and a few people are leaders. It all ties into the same kind of psychology. Not all of us are born to be followers, and so the guy who's the leader will be the guy who checks the noise in the bushes, even though it might be a tiger and he might get eaten when he checks it. He's still the guy who's going to make a groundbreaking discovery when he realizes that there wasn't a tiger back there and he found, I don't know what, a secret cave to food. I don't know, but you know what I mean. Those people, the kind of people who ignore the flight or fight instinct and face a risk, those people are leaders, and those people end up, yeah, sometimes they end up dying, but sometimes they end up, making a discovery or making a groundbreaking advancement. Either way, they're the ones who tend to be leaders in society, and there's a reason that like most of us aren't leaders, most of us are followers, and that's how religion keeps a hold on most people. Notice how most leaders are Catholics? No, I have not noticed that. Yes, we as humans can and should try to do better than our nature. You're absolutely right, and that's the way it's going. What's up, Jew Billy? I did not see you here, my friend. Used to cope with bad things that was happen, especially death. Yeah, I mean, that's the other part. It's just simply comforting for people to think about the fact that they might see grandma again when they die. As an atheist, we have to understand that these people have been taught God since they were a baby. Well, this really it. It's the indoctrination. It's so hard to get over. It's so hard to get over. It's really a problem. Yeah, no cheese on your hot dogs. I know, Jew. I know you know they're kosher hot dogs. Tasty kosher hot dogs though out there. Hebrew National we used to buy because they're just tasty. But yeah, sorry. Even the kosher hot dog from the store, I'm still putting cheese on it, my friend. There's nothing better than cheese on meat. I always got that always It always killed me, that Jewish law prohibited cheese. I don't know if there's some reason for it, Like you're offending the mother by putting you're killing the baby and putting the milk of the mother that it fed from on top of it. I don't know. There's some bizarre Jewish reason for it. It doesn't make a lick of sense because what's better than fucking cheese on meat? Hamburger may as well not even be eaten if it doesn't have a good glop of melted cheese on it. Um, Mexicans will make a steak called a la tan pequeña, and they'll just have a cheese enchilada on top of a tasty skirt steak. And man, when you take a bite of them both together, oh, it's just heaven, man. I don't know. The combination of the flavor of melted cheese on the right kind of meat um, is I could never eat kosher because of that. Richard Hitchens, you're fascinated about old school Judaism in relation to Christianity now. Purely because God said so. They can come up with whatever they want. But at the end of the day, no explanation. Yeah, I suppose. All top leaders are religious. You're not wiser than those guys. Who says all top leaders are religious? That's probably one of the stupidest things I've read tonight. I think people are publicly religious so they don't get scrutinized. I think a lot of top leaders pretend to be religious because it's easy to pull the wool over religious people's eyes and pander to the Christians in the country. That's silly to me. I think top leaders are um, probably less religious than just look at every president. Okay, let's look at every president. I don't believe that Trump is a Christian. I think he's an atheist. I don't believe that Obama is a Christian. I think he's an atheist. I don't believe that Clinton is a Christian. I think he's an atheist. All right. The fact that these people say they're Christians doesn't mean shit. And if you believe what they say because they say they're Christians, then you're an imbecile. All right. These people pander to Christianity because they know they can't get elected without being Christian. If you think that half of these people, after the education that they have and what they've been through in life, you think these leaders are Christians because they say so? No, they're Christians because mopes won't vote for them if they don't say that they're Christians, period. And the early presidents were certainly not Christians, right? The deists who started the country, Washington, Jefferson, out of the first 4 or 5 or 6 presidents were probably not Christians. Lincoln was not a Christian. He was an agnostic. I think most of the early presidents were barely religious, if at all. So talking to me about the presidents doesn't go anywhere. They just, Bush, the Bushes, Reagan, this asshole, uh, um, the second Bush, right? W, right? Christian, no doubt about it, and plenty of them have been. But even JFK, he was a Catholic, but he didn't care about being Catholic. He cared about the civic good. He cared about not denying science. He made quotes about it, how all life came from the ocean, because he knew that that was true, and so did the Catholic Church at that point. It's just you're crazy if you think most of our presidents have been Christians. Everyone starts atheist, then they get brainwashed. Ain't it the truth? I don't believe everyone is atheist. I don't think you're an atheist. There's plenty of non-atheists. But to think that all of our presidents were atheists just because they all said that they were, how gullible are you? I thought about running for Congress and coming out atheist during a debate. Do it, man. Do it. Sky Daddy's a deadbeat dad. Yeah, he is. Pander to the gullible. That's really what they do. Well, the Old Testament is almost identical to the Hebrew Tabna. Tanakh. I was going to say what Tanakh. Scrolling back through the comments here. Bill Gates, your savior, is Catholic. Is he my savior? Bill Gates doesn't care about God. Bill Gates isn't. Just when he was born Catholic doesn't mean that they believe that bullshit anymore. What really opened my eyes is an omnipresent, powerful, all good God doesn't let these horrors happen to kids. Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? That's a big one. And nobody has any reason for that, you know. Your kitten's running around like she got into some coke, like he got into some coke. That's cool. As Richard Dawkins said, I'd be Franklin and G. Washington were alive today. What? Don't get it. Fire Daddy is better than Sky Daddy. Who's Fire Daddy? What's that? Nastasia Tipene. Nastasia Tipene. Darren Martin, thank you, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And it's time to go. It's 9 o'clock. It's already been 2 hours. I love how fast this goes by. Big toot out for all of you guys. I'm gonna go in and get me some food. And appreciate all you guys for being here. Check us out on Sunday. I believe I will be here and might have a special treat for you. We'll see what goes on then. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Stay safe. Eat lots of food. My advice to all of you is smoke a bunch of weed, eat a bunch of food, watch a little football maybe if your team's on, and then eat some more food and smoke some more weed and have some drinks too. And I love you guys so much. Thanks for being here. I will see you again Sunday, if not before. And check you out on the videos, man. Take it easy, everybody. I'm going to go and get rid of the YouTube. Thanks, Native Atheist, for saying hi on YouTube. Take care, everybody. Love you long time.